You ever just sit back and think, what's the deal with Call of Duty? In 2025? I mean, really think about it. We're over a decade and a half deep into this franchise and somehow, we're still playing the same game. We were in 2009. Strip away the flash, the bloom, the high-res textures, and you've basically got the same structure, the same gameplay loop, the same predictable campaign, beats, and multiplayer modes. It's like they took Modern Warfare 2 back in the day, photocopied it, and have just been slapping new skins on it every year since. Let's be clear, we're not talking about Warzone here. That's its own can of worms, and honestly, a whole different conversation. What we're focusing on is the Call of Duty you buy. The yearly release that still tries to pass. Itself offers some kind of evolution of the series. But it's not evolving. It's just running in circles. Campaign? Still barely 6 hours long, filled with one-dimensional characters, predictable plot twists, and those hold X to be emotional moments that are about as deep as a puddle. Multiplayer? Same old 3-lane maps, slightly tweaked weapon balance, and new modes that are just recycled ideas from games past. It's reached the point where Call of Duty feels more like a sports franchise than a shooter. Think about it. Every year, you get a new installment with minor tweaks, some flashy marketing, and maybe a slightly different aesthetic. But under the hood, it's the same exact game, just like how FIFA or Madden comes out every year, with new player ratings and fresh kits. COD shows up with a different camo pattern and calls it innovation. It's not innovation, it's repetition dressed up in high-budget presentation. And yet, no matter how stale it gets, no matter how many people complain, there's still this cult-like following that will line up every year to buy the next one. Doesn't matter if the servers are broken at launch. Doesn't matter if the gunplay feels copy-pasted. Doesn't even matter if the campaign is just a glorified tutorial. There's always going to be that massive day-one player base, hyped up, ready to grind the same experience all over again like it's something new. It's honestly impressive in a weird way. How Activision has managed to build this unshakable loyalty. They've basically trained a whole generation to expect mediocrity and still show up for it. It's almost surreal when you think about how Call of Duty used to be the gold standard for first-person shooters. Back in the late 2000s and early 2010s, it was pushing boundaries, setting trends with cinematic campaigns, refined gunplay, and multiplayer that defined a generation. Modern Warfare, Black Ops, these games were events. Midnight launches, packed lobbies, and iconic moments that people still reference today. But somewhere along the way, the drive to innovate just stopped. It's like they hit a formula that worked and decided, all right, we'll just ride this forever. And to be fair, from a business standpoint, they were right. The formula works. But from a creative standpoint, it's been dead for years. The problem is, the changes they do make are surface level. You might get a campaign where you choose your mission order, or they add some random gadget to spice things up. But it's never meaningful. The core remains unchanged. It's still the same on-rails action set pieces, the same loud explosions, the same look how serious we are. Tone. There's no real risk-taking, no bold mechanical shifts, no rethinking what Call of Duty could actually be in a modern gaming landscape. Instead, it's just a rinse-and-repeat cycle, dressed up in whatever military buzzword feels relevant that year. And look, I get it. COD has to appeal to a massive player base. It's casual, it's accessible, and there's a comfort in knowing what to expect. But that comfort has turned into complacency. There's a difference between consistency and stagnation. And this franchise crossed that line a long time ago. We're in an era where indie shooters are experimenting with movement, gun mechanics, narrative design, games made by 20-person teams are showing more creativity than a billion-dollar juggernaut. That's embarrassing, especially when you consider the resources Activision has. They could be doing something incredible, but they choose not to. And the saddest part is watching talented studios get absorbed into this cycle. Treyarch, Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, these names used to mean something. Now it feels like they're all just rotating through the same checklist. Prestige system? Check. Seasonal battle pass? Check. Predictable map drops and weapon meta shifts? Check. It's factory line game. Development at its most efficient and its most boring. There's no identity anymore, just the illusion of variety, spread across a recycled framework. What's wild is that even when the community voices frustration, year after year, it's like shouting into a void. Players complain about SBMM, stale gameplay, broken spawns, bloated UI, bugs that never get fixed. Yet the cycle continues. The next game gets announced, the trailers drop, nostalgia gets weaponized. And boom, pre-orders fly off the shelves. It's like clockwork. Activision knows exactly how to dangle. Just enough to spark FOMO, a classic map return here, a character skin there, maybe a nod to an old fan-favorite moment, and suddenly, everyone's back on board. Like they didn't just spend the last 12 months complaining about the last one. Call of Duty has somehow mastered the art of selective memory in its fanbase. They bank on nostalgia and habit. For a lot of players, COD isn't just a game, it's routine. It's the comfort food of gaming. Doesn't matter if it's lukewarm and underseasoned. It's familiar, and that's all it takes. You jump in, run the same routes, grind the same modes, chase the same camos, and maybe that's enough for some people. But for those of us who remember when COD meant something, when it was an industry leader, not just a follower with a marketing budget, it's hard not to feel like something valuable has been lost. And look, this isn't just some angry rant about a franchise getting old. Franchises can grow. They should grow. Look at games like Doom, Halo Infinite, even Battlefield when it's on its A-game. They've all tried, in their own ways, to evolve, to find a new voice or mechanic that brings something fresh. But Call of Duty? It's like it refuses to learn. It's found its financial sweet spot and dug in its heels. And maybe that's enough for them. But it's not enough for a genre that needs to keep moving forward. What's frustrating is that the potential is still there. The talent exists within these studios. The fan base is massive and passionate. If Activision actually took a year off from the cycle and let a studio build something bold, something that breaks the mold, I guarantee it would sell. Maybe not to the same level as the annual comfort drop, but it would reignite interest, conversation, and most importantly, respect. Because right now, Call of Duty is coasting on a legacy it stopped earning years ago. So what's the deal with COD in 2025? It's a legacy franchise stuck in a time loop, unwilling to grow, too profitable to change, and too comfortable to care. And until that changes, we'll keep getting the same game every year, with a different coat of paint and a fresh round of disappointment.